Recently, there has been much public outcry about the price of our phthalimide pill. There is no denying that the price of the drug has increased since it came onto the market, but we have to defend our rights as a company and not allow our detractors to paint us as a cold and uncaring company that engages in unethical business practices. This report will address the most common complaints made. One issue raised is that the price of the drug on the market is so much compared to what it actually costs to make. While it is true that the drug is relatively inexpensive to make, manufacturing costs are not the only costs that we incur. It takes a lot of money to do the trials necessary to gain FDA approval. A lot of money also goes into the research and development of pharmaceutical products. This research and development allows new and innovative medicines to be introduced to the market, which benefits society as a whole. Admittedly, the price has increased, but compared to Velcade, a drug that is also used to treat cancer, our price is significantly lower. Another issue raised is that the price of phthalimide makes it unaffordable for many people. This simply is not true. Some patients can afford to pay for the drug outright, but the majority of the patients using phthalimide have either health insurance or Medicare, which covers most, if not all, of the costs of phthalimide. For those who don't have coverage and fall under a certain threshold, Celgene provides phthalimide to these persons free of charge under our free drug program. Therefore, there is a very small percentage of persons who do not fall into one of these categories and do not have access to phthalimide. People say that pharmaceutical companies are just greedy. Well, Celgene isn't a not-for-profit organization. Since bringing phthalimide to the market in 1998, the first time the company saw a profit was in 2003. There certainly was no public outcry when we were operating at a loss year after year, all while continuing to invest in research and development to bring new drugs to the market. As we continue to operate in an ethically and socially responsible manner, we must also keep in mind that we have to run our company in such a way as to benefit the shareholders who have entrusted us with the responsibility to make good use of their investment. According to John Locke, if a person uses their labor to harvest or develop something given to us by nature, this results in private property. And what a person does with their private property is their right. The only restrictions are that the person should leave some for others and that they should not waste what is given to them by nature. Taking this into consideration, Celgene is only doing something that it is within its right to do. It has used its labor to develop the product phthalimide and can charge whatever it pleases for that product, because the product belongs to them. But truthfully, we have not abused this right. We have not obstructed other companies from creating their own version of phthalimide and offering it at a lower price. The patent that was in place initially expired a very long time ago, and the market is now open to all. Additionally, profit maximization is not something new, and it definitely is not something sinister. Andrew Carnegie is a proponent of the idea that the creation of wealth for the rich benefits everyone and works for the advancement of society as a whole. Celgene and other pharmaceutical companies have revolutionized healthcare with their innovative medicines to treat and cure diseases. This could not have been accomplished if wealthy people did not exist in society to make these investments that work for the greater good. As a pharmaceutical company, we have to strike a balance between social and ethical responsibility and financial responsibility to our shareholders. Sometimes this is a very thin line. But with the programs that we have in place to give as many people as possible access to our medicines, in my opinion, we are doing a fine job. Based on this report, it is evident that there are many ethical and social issues facing the pharmaceutical industry as a whole. On one hand, there is an obligation to make our investors happy. On the other hand, we have a social responsibility to do research and development that will lead to new and innovative medicines being brought to the market. And we have an ethical responsibility to ensure that as many people as possible have access to our medications, because in a lot of instances, it could be a matter of life or death. What some pharmaceutical companies have been doing is attempting to maximize profits by cutting back on essential research and development. Now, this is wrong. They are taking advantage of the laws of supply and demand. When a person's life is on the line, they would be willing to pay whatever they must to receive life-saving drugs. As a result, the demand for most medicines is inelastic. And because pharmaceutical companies know this, some charge exorbitant prices for their medications. This matter is so serious that it is under review by lawmakers, and they hope to achieve healthcare reform in the future that will reduce some of the leverage that big drug companies have.